Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to Whoa, That's Sick.
Whoa, that's friggin' sick.
With Erik and Mark.
Yep. I'm
Whoa,
Erik,
that's
that's
sick.
Mark.
Yes. Whoa, That's Sick, a.k.a. The Slop, a.k.a. Piggy's Guide, how to go from being a sloppy little oinker
To a big fat hog.
to a big gentleman hog.
Yep. Welcome to Hog Talk with the Piss Boys.
And as always, it's simply just us.
It's simply just us. We'll get a guest in here one day.
Nary a guest, as far as the eye can see. Many invitations out, no replies.
No replies.
Left us on red.
I wish there was a setting on the phone that could see that I saw that you saw my message. Just to like a really passive aggressive message format. Be like, come on, hey there.
Yeah, you left me on red, and now you have me on saw. Saw that.
Oh, he left me on saw. What's up, dude?
I think we need more passive aggressive elements to the phone.
I would say so.
You know what? My favorite passive aggressive thing on the phone in text world is the thumbs up. Boop boop. Cannot see that and not think that someone's mad at me.
Would you prefer just a love?
I need a heart.
Okay.
I need a heart.
Like,
If I get a thumbs up,
like the
imagine
Cowardly Lion. No, does he need a heart? No, the Tin Man.
Tin Man need heart. Lion need courage.
Scarecrow needs brain. Scarecrow's just horny. He just wants brain.
Scarecrow wants brain.
If I only got some brain.
Cowardly Lion wants the courage to ask for brain.
Yeah. Damn, that's good.
And Tin Man just wants love.
He wants to fall in love with the person who's supplying the brain. Yeah.
He wants all of that. I don't know if I've talked to you about this already, but the Cowardly Lion is easily my favorite part of the original Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
I don't think I'm alone there. Actor Burt Lahr.
Burt Lahr.
Lahr. And
Lar. That's from Wicked.
Is it?
I want to be popular.
Oh,
And
good.
she does
Yeah.
She says lar because it rhymes, and then she goes lar.
Oh, I do remember that. I have seen Wicked twice.
You seen Wicked twice, the movie or the show, on Broadway?
On Broadway, but one time I accidentally went to see Boston, the Boston Wicked.
Yeah.
Called Wicked Awesome.
Wicked awesome.
And that was a different experience altogether.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That was, the Wicked Witch wears a Yankees hat, and then they stomp her to death.
Yeah. Instead of throwing water on her, they throw Narragansett beer.
Yeah, they do. They throw Sam Adams.
Did you see the movie Wicked?
Once again, I just saw Boston Wicked.
Oh yeah, sure.
Boston Wicked, starring Mark Wahlberg as the wizard,
The Wicked Witch of the West,
and he's and then of course
the Wizard Kid.
Yeah,
you gotta go see the Wizard.
You gotta go see the Wizard. What are we doing here?
You talking about the Wiz?
Every day,
Michael Jackson.
Every day I wake up and I go to your house to pick you up, and I think the same thing. I think one day you're not gonna be at your door because you're gonna be on the yellow brick road
Instead of laying the bricks on the road.
Yeah.
Hey, that's honest work. There's good work in there. He goes, yeah, but you're better than that. It's not your fault. You're going to be laying the bricks on the yellow brick road for the rest of your fucking life? Is that what you're going to be doing?
Every day we lay the bricks on that road, and I just want to see you walk towards them emeralds.
Yeah.
You could make a name for yourself out there.
What you want to hear? That this scar is because I didn't have a heart and they put it in there? You didn't want to hear that, Skylar. that these burn marks, that the motherfucker threw water on me?
Let's make it
Wicked.
Let's make Wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
The witch dies because they throw Dunkin' Donuts coffee on her. I don't even know if Dunkin's Boston. I just associate it with Boston now because of the Matt Damon, Ben Affleck.
I think it is Boston. I think it's very Boston. But in the film Wicked, the current one that's out, there's a part where the speaking animals, the talking animals,
the metaphors for racism.
Well, see, that's one way to take it.
Okay,
because they started the animals, they didn't want them to speak, and one was a professor, and they took him out. And I think it's racism against white men saying their feelings.
Yeah.
A college professor who can't speak no more.
Yeah.
It's about cancel culture.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Woked.
Yeah, the talking goat professor is Jordan Peterson. And he's not allowed to say what he really wants to say, which is that there's only two pronouns.
There's only two
genders. There's only two pronouns.
Yeah, there's only
he and him.
There's only two pronouns. Since when are witches green?
Yeah.
Come on. Anybody can be a witch if they just take the right class. And I don't know.
There, as far as I can tell, there's only, two genders, Piggy.
Hi.
Piggy. Jordan.
So that in this bit, Jordan Peterson is married to Miss Piggy.
Yeah, because he sounds like Kermit.
He does sound like Kermit.
The human sexuality is a lot like that of the lobster, and let me spell that out a bit. Jordan Peterson's wild.
Yeah,
just a wild freak, an absolute freak.
He really didn't he start off kind of okay, and then he just. Is this a case of where he was always kind of bad and then he got uplifted, or he found a market that really rallied behind him and then he just like panders to that?
I don't know. See, I don't know.
I don't know enough about
every time I watch a video of him like talking to another professor, they're just destroying him.
That's awesome.
Like he's saying something like, "What's the difference between a dragon and a lion? Categorically." And then the professor's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he's like, I'm not talking in terms of biology. I'm talking categorically." And they're like, I can't. They just stare at him. And then he eats a big handful of beef and says, I feel sick.
Is he on that beef diet?
He was. His daughter got him on a beef diet, and then he had to go to get special medical attention.
That's awesome.
Which there's no proof that it was due to the beef diet. But there's no proof that it wasn't.
That it wasn't. My roommate was on the beef diet for a while, or just mainly a lot of meat and fats and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he's freaking jacked, and I do think he knew a little bit about nutrition, but he would admittedly be like, "Oh, I watch one YouTube video and I am radicalized."
Yeah,
and and he would just cook steak in the house all day. The place always smelled like buttery steak.
Yeah, Uncle Roommate.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Roommate
always grilling up a couple of steaks for the boys.
So true.
Cracking a brew, telling you what he thinks about the world. I do think, I understand why people get radicalized by YouTube videos, because I just think we are all so desperate for answers, and most of us don't know nothing, and that's scary. And then a little video comes along that's like, well, what if this is everything? And you're like, yeah, okay. That feels better.
Well, and YouTube will the suggested videos. It's 3 videos will get you to ISIS. 7 degrees of ISIS, of Kevin Bacon and ISIS.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon is 1 degree to ISIS. Kevin Bacon's in ISIS.
That's so...
And that's what nobody else is, this is the podcast that's saying what no one else is willing to say.
Do you think ISIS will do a rebrand and they'll be like, we're ISIS now. We're not as bad. We're not so bad now.
Yeah.
Are they still cooking, ISIS?
Well, I don't know. I mean, are they? I think so.
They're sitting there and they're like, listen, this Hezbollah character is taking all of our heat. We used to go viral with these videos. They're worried just about his virality and their reels aren't popping. And they're like, the algorithm isn't putting out this beheading video.
Yeah. The algorithm is so fucking fickle now. We got to stop putting captions on our videos. If we're going to cut someone's head off, we can't say beheading. We have to say
unheading.
We have to say unheading. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that freaking sucks.
And they have to put the Snapchat bar across with the title on it.
Yeah.
And definitely no hashtags, because that just seems like they're trying too hard.
Yeah. POV, a guy spoke out against your Lord. Mm-hmm. And then he cut his head off. My heretic neighbor said, what? 4 question marks.
Yeah.
Beheading.
It's got the YouTube cover with them. It's like a silhouette being like AI generated image of a heretic neighbor looking over the fence.
It's time for ISIS to finally get on the latest TikTok trends if they want to stay relevant. I want to see ISIS doing the apple dance. I want to see, I know this isn't current, but I want to see ISIS doing their version of a damn Daniel. Let's see it.
Come on, baby. Yeah, the head of ISIS's social media is like complaining to his girlfriend again, and the girlfriend's like, no, it's like, no, listen, like that other beheading post did numbers. He's probably just didn't post it right at the right time.
Yeah. Or I don't know, maybe I just had something then that I don't have anymore. You know, maybe I was doing something better then, and maybe I've sort of just lost it.
No, listen, don't think that way. You need to just keep pushing through. Everyone goes through this. I was just listening to Putin's podcast.
Yeah.
And there was a time where he didn't think he could reinvade Ukraine.
Yeah.
And look at him now.
He invaded Ukraine again. Thanks, sweetheart.
Now let's finish watching Wicked.
I love this movie. Now, Eric, what the hell is new with you? I want to say before we get into that our episode this week is brought to you by Gay Cup.
Gay Cup.
We got a new cup, and it's as gay as the day is long. It's called Tom of Finland, and we don't know what that means, but it's this man, presumably Tom. He's dressed as Santa, and he's showing it all. And that's a gift from my girlfriend. She got us a nice gay cup.
One cup to split.
Eric, you see any movies recently since we last talked, which was yesterday?
Which was yesterday, but no. I did. No. What did I do last night? I finished up a video I was working on for a client.
Oh yeah,
doing brand work now.
Yeah. Eric's working for
ISIS.
Eric's working for a, let's just say, client.
Little startup.
Let's just say,
little mom and pop shop.
Pretty famous client.
Not a big deal.
And he's doing his best.
Yeah, we're working on it. But no, I finished up the video for the client with my good pal Tucker. Got notes today that said that the client, because it was like an ad agency for the client, they loved it. I think we're done with this one. They're like, we also have more of a budget to trim these down a little more for additional types of things. So I might have money.
That rocks.
Isn't that sick? And the best part is I'm making it with one of my closest friends. And we met when we were 22 or 23-year-old morons in Chicago, and now we're like having full meetings with like executives. And like being like, oh yeah, no, I think the V1 proposal and the pitch deck, just saying businessy type stuff.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
If they only knew that you guys started out that way, they wouldn't trust you with a dime of their money.
Definitely not.
If they could have seen you guys in Chicago, running around, eating hot dogs.
What were you like when you first started comedy?
I
imagine it was mostly acting for silent films. A lot of slapstick.
Yeah, let's see. When I started on the vaudeville circuit in the late 1800s, I was doing a father-son act where my father would hurl me against the wall in a sort of Buster Keaton-esque way. And I would get, it would bloody my nose, and then the audience would sort of gasp in a concerned way, and then my father would say, no, I'm his father, and then they'd all sigh in relief.
They thought it was just a man.
Well, if it's his father, then it's his legal right to do that. And we would tour the world, and the Marx Brothers were a big thing then, and we would, we would do our famous bits where, let's just say, the melanin. The melanin. His face would darken, and then he would
the dark face.
He would do a little song and dance number.
Never seen a face as dark.
And then film took over, and it really fucked us.
What if there was a guy in that time who was doing blackface, which is bad, but it was a part of the times.
If we could just make that so clear.
Yeah, it was bad, but part of the time. But this guy did blackface, but instead of doing caricatures, he would just do full long plays of them being like a doctor. Like just like acting as like the highest status person.
Yeah, that's really good. He was progressive for his time.
Extremely progressive for the time. Still bad, When I did it last year, it was not taken well.
He would come out on stage and he would say,
I'm gay.
He would say, he would say, I'm gay. And also, that's okay.
And that's okay.
He would say, Mammy. And then long pause while the audience was waiting for a horrible insult. And then he'd go, Mammy, I finished med school and I was accepted at a local hospital.
Man.
And I'm going to be working there now.
And everyone goes, the fuck is that?
And people go, huh? What?
What is that?
Who? And then he looks, and then he looks straight to the audience and say, yeah, that's the world I want to see. And then the lights would go back, and then the curtains would close, and then the next act would come out.
And it was bad.
It was a bad one. Yeah. He would hurl me twice as hard just to try and win them back. Mm-hmm. He would really have to work on that. Here's my real answer. When I started, I was a little twerp. Well, here's the thing. I'd come out of the world of improv, which I started doing in high school. And so when I started doing stand-up, I would just do these long, kind of like semi-improvised rants. They were just silly and kind of nonsense.
Okay.
And that's all it was. Kind of nonsensical rants.
Did you have a crew that you ran with?
Yeah, because I was in Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada, and there's like 12 stand-up comedians total. And 5 of them were clinically insane.
Yep.
It was the same percentage as any stand-up scene, except it was just smaller, so you noticed it more.
Yes.
And so there's like 5 to 7 of us who would just sort of trudge along to like the 2 places you could perform, and we'd try out our jokes, and then the maniacs would come along too, and they would do bits that I've heard these bits more than I've heard any of my favorite jokes. I've heard probably 40 to 50 times. I've heard this one man's Star Trek bit about how he would just launch into the middle of it. There was no context, no setup. He would just go, Picard. He'd just be in it. He'd go, Picard, power to the French shields. And then Picard would be like, are you sure, Mr. Worf? And be like, Data said it. He's an android, not an idiot. And then you'd be like, all right, where? And then you'd have to do the math where you're like, all right, this is sort of like he's upset that Picard never trusts Data, and he's doing it through Worf. It was interesting.
Okay.
It was interesting. One of my favorite jokes was this one guy, he was going through a one-liner phase. And he would say, why do they call them...
Our 3-year-old's in his one-liner phase.
Yeah, the Hedberg threes. And he would go, why do they call them flip-flops? They don't flip or flop. They just flap around and piss me off. That was a joke.
That's a haiku.
I loved that joke.
This one dude in Chicago had a good joke about the reason why a lot of the Star Wars villains in the original ones are British. It was because they shot a lot of it in England, so that was a lot of the talent that was there. And he's like, wouldn't it be funny if it was shot in Chicago? He'd be like, Luke, I'm your dad.
Those are my favorite jokes where it's like, well, what if it was completely different than what it was?
It's good.
I think it might be like this. And you're like, yeah, what if? What if anything was anything?
I mean, that's the whole basis of stand-up comedy. I love it. Or like impression type stuff. I mean, people would be like, I was on the bus the other day and you'll never guess who got on. John Travolta. And he said, oh my God, why is the bus stopping right now? And then Sylvester Stallone pops up in the back and says, hey, he's the guy who pulls the street.
Yeah, I like that.
Celebrity bus.
I like Celebrity Bus.
And then Seinfeld gets on and goes, why are we on the bus?
Yeah.
You get on the bus and you ride in the plane.
Why do they say you're on the bus? You're not on it. You're in it. We're in the bus. We don't say we're on the car. We don't say we're on the plane. Yes, wait, we do.
We do.
Wait a second. He wakes up in a cold sweat. It happened again. But here's a joke that I was really thinking of that's like that Chicago one, which is every time we see a movie about ancient Rome,
Yeah.
They have British accents.
Sure.
To the point where it's like when I picture ancient Romans speaking, I picture the sort of like, the classic, posh British accent as like, that means formal society to me, formal civilization. And just picturing those same movies, like Pontius Pilate condemning Jesus to death with an Italian accent is wild to me.
Hey, Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh yeah, like a Roman.
Yeah, either a New York or like a Roman.
Get the fuck out of here, Jesus. Who's your dad, God?
Oh, we're gonna make some aqueducts. We gotta dig into aqueducts, and we gotta make the sewers.
Yeah, were they speaking Italian? Or it was Latin probably at the time, right? I don't know what the Latin accent
you're right,
been.
But I got to assume that it sounded like that. Like, where'd that accent come from?
I like when movies, and they've been doing it lately with like historical stuff, where they just don't bother with the accents and just like Napoleon. Mm-hmm. Everyone just had their same accents, and I really don't mind that because it's like I'd rather not be. I know that I'm watching the story or whatever. I don't need to see Joaquin Phoenix try to do a what was it, Corsican accent?
Yeah.
Whatever that might be.
Whatever that might be. I don't even want to imagine it. I don't even want a Corsican to speak with that accent.
Nope.
There's nothing I want less. It would be beyond distracting. It would be upsetting.
It's always Corsican. Should be Corsicant.
Yeah. And it should be, and it's Corsa shouldn't, and Corsa won't. Napoleon famously lost, the war in Russia.
Yeah.
Banished to an island. Here's what I didn't know. I knew he ended his life on an island, on an exile island. What I didn't know is he escaped from the first island.
Yeah. Or he just went back.
He made his way back. And then he tried again. And then Waterloo happened. And then he was sent to a further away island. Yeah. And I didn't even start looking into this until I watched the 90s version of Count of Monte Cristo. Crisco. He was really slippery.
It's a slippery slope.
And I saw him, and the Count talks to Napoleon, and then that's what gets him into hot water. But Napoleon, one island is never enough for a tiny emperor.
So true.
You always need a second island.
Honestly, being banished, it seems kind of sick. Banish my ass.
Banish my ass.
They send you
Run me over with a truck, daddy. Banish me, daddy.
Oh my God. I want someone to just banish my head between their thighs. They lock him up on an island that's beautiful with like a, wife, kids.
They give him a wife.
They just give him a wife. They say,
welcome to Emperor Island.
That's the real punishment.
We placed one tiny former French emperor on this island with 12 sexy singles and 18 kids. Let's see which woman he matches up with and which kids he takes in as his own. This is Napoleon Island. I'd watch. I fucking love how much islands were the solution in the past. Like Typhoid Mary. Oh my God, she's patient zero for this new disease that she's spreading with intent. I was hearing.
She was spreading it with intent?
Yeah. She knew she was sick.
Possession with intent to distribute.
Yeah. Possession of typhoid with the with intent to distribute.
She had like 100 grams of typhoid on her.
Yeah, and she was always just lacing. Yeah. So she was a cook in a family home, a rich family home, and then she was like making food for the kids and shit. And I think she knew she was sick, and she knew it was contagious, and she just kept at it because this was her. I don't know. I don't know if she was trying to get them sick or if she was just like.
She's just a hard worker.
She's a hard worker. She loved her job. She was a workaholic. Mm-hmm. And without her job, who was she? But they banished her to an island. Everyone's just getting put on an island.
Damn, dude.
And that's, and overpopulation has ruined our ability to put our criminals, former emperors, and sick citizens on their own little island.
Yeah. Now, if there's a specific island, it's for something bad.
That's true.
Not for something cool like typhoid.
And we should have known that Jeffrey Epstein would get up to no good when we banished him to that island for being a sex predator.
And just kept supplying children and some of our most powerful and richest people of the country.
He says it keeps him calm.
All right, should we do some biddies, some segments?
Some bits, skits, jits, dits, and rits.
Cool. We're cooking right along.
Erik.
Yes.
It's our favorite segment. We're on episode 2, but it's already a fave.
New guys?
It's new guys. Oh no, who could that be? Ring ding. Oh my fucking god! Holy fucking shit! Get the fuck out of here!
Girl talk.
Yeah. New guys. This is new guys. The world is full of guys, and there's new ones all the time. And we are happy to throw our hat in the ring and pitch some new guys for the future of any genre, anything. Today we're talking about McDonald's mascots. Mm-hmm. So many of them, so many classics, so long since they've introduced any new ones. Erik, let's introduce some new McDonald's mascots.
Cool. Would you like to go first?
I'd love to, because I have a lot.
I used to have a VHS tape that was a cartoon of the McDonald's mascots that they made.
Oh yeah,
that McDonald's made and gave it out. It was pretty good. I used to watch.
What were they doing?
They were having sex.
I think McDonald's gave it out, but personally, I received it from the neighbor, the neighbor boy next door.
Yeah, his older brother.
His older brother had this tape, and he said it was an official McDonald's tape. And the first part was a bunch of mascots having sex, and then there was a lot of car crashes where you could see the outcome.
Yeah, a lot of. There's a guy who chopped off his own dick.
Yeah, some good stuff. All right, listen. Here's what I'm going to say straight up. Move over, Ronald. Move over, Mayor McCheese and Grimace. It's time for Genki, the talking nugget, Councilwoman McCheese, and Genki, the nugget who can talk but mustn't. Also, instead of the Hamburglar, I'm pitching the Ham Inside Trader. He's still a criminal. He still wears the little villain's mask and a striped, inmate shirt.
He has a much harder time insider trading, wearing all the garb.
But he's still got a hamburger for a face, but he's got a $1,000 haircut, slicked back, nice as you like. And instead of just stealing hamburgers, of course, he's telling people where the hamburger deals are happening, and then he gets his cut.
He always gets a piece.
He always gets his beak wet. If hamburgers are about to, if they're about to diminish in value, he's out, and he lets his friends know early.
Real quick, can you name some of the original or the current guys of McDonald's? There's Ronald.
We got Ronald. We got Mayor McCheese. We got Sheriff. I don't know what his name is. We got Hamburger. We got Birdie, the chicken nugget gal.
Okay.
And of course we got Grimace.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I can name for now.
Those are the ones I remember as well.
And I'm in love with Grimace because of his character arc. When he started, he was an evil creature who was associated with the milkshake. And I think he always wanted to steal milkshake. He was angry. He had angry eyebrows like Oscar the Grouch. And then I think that didn't play well. So they just removed every character trait from him, every shred of so character that you could want, and he's just a fucking idiot.
Hell yeah.
Who just comes out and he's like, so they concussed him. They gave him CTE and they sent him out there, and now he's a fan fave. The Hamburglar has a want. Grimace got nothing.
Grimace got no want.
He's just there.
He's just happy to be there, baby.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the arc of media in general. We realize that people want a narrative less than they just want their favorite characters dancing around. Grimace is early TikTok.
Grimace is early TikTok. Did they have, we'll get to my characters in a sec. Did they have McDonald's Monopoly in Canada?
Yes.
Did you play it?
Yes.
I loved it back in the day.
But instead of Boardwalk and Park Place, we had the Bridle Path in Toronto, and the rich part of Saskatoon.
We used to have Boardwalk, Park Place, and Johnny Cash. Now we got no place.
We got no place, no cash, and nobody even walks anymore.
No one walks anymore.
But let me tell you, everyone's bored.
So true, dude. I used to know a guy. His name was Segway Joe. And
And on that topic, let's get to.
Well, he was shaped just like Grimace, kind of like a triangle shape.
Oh, nice.
It was wild. Okay.
I was just using Segway Joe as the other kind of segue. To segue into.
Oh, the reason he always rode a Segway. It'd be funny if he's like, what do you even know this?
What do you guys mean?
He always rode a Segway, and then he got a big settlement because he crashed his Segway in a pothole that he had like written several letters to the town about. Oh. And when he crashed it, he got like $100,000, and he was a drunk.
Wow.
He used to come to the bar I worked at called Fat City. And he would just sit, and at one time I'd see him, he'd be so drunk and barely, like, his eyes were already kind of crazy, and then he would just open his bank account and show it to women. And I don't think it had like
Jesus.
It had a lot in it, but not enough to warrant showing it to someone like that and thinking it was like impressive.
He'd go, you know how many Segways I can buy with this?
Make a whole car out of Segway.
And he says, let's just say I got about 100,000 Segways in the bank. No, you don't. Okay, never mind.
Did you know the inventor of the Segway died on a Segway? I think
I heard that's an urban myth. Wow, urban legend. But it's fun to imagine.
Some say he's still here.
It would be funny if he was called Segway Joe, because every time he came around, people segued to something else in a conversation. Like they'd see him and they'd go, you know what? That reminds me.
He goes,
someone else I know is in critical bad health.
He goes, oh.
That reminds me of this loser I saw recently.
Okay, my new guys. So we've got Seamus McGriddle.
Oh, yeah.
McGriddle. And he is very Irish.
He's Irish.
And there's still, in this world, there's still a little racist towards the Irish. This is like Gangs of New York world.
Early America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't like the Irish. And he's always like, oh, I just want a spot of McNugget.
Yeah. Oh, he goes, grill me, I'm Irish.
That's good. Grill me, I'm Irish. That's pretty good.
I got a new shirt that I'm going to wear that Gen Z is going to love for St. Patrick's Day. And it says, miss me, I'm Irish.
Miss me with that.
Miss me with your slander, I'm Irish.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a last name for this one, but Patty, obviously. And it's a girl in the group. And she's got huge cans. She like sex appeal one, like get the right fired up, like the green M&M, you know, like the horny one, the hot one. Yeah. Get some sex appeal in there. I'm kind of an intelligent guy, like a sophisticated guy. Okay. So I just want to say I'm more attracted to the new green M&M. Like I actually think she's even hotter now. What does the new green M&M look like? I don't know. I think they toned her down a bit. I love that when the new Space Jam came out and they had to make Lola Bunny less hot. She was hot. She was hot. Yeah. That did a lot of stuff for me. Yeah. She looked good. But the guy who's in charge of drawing the cartoon and then the guy who has to judge, he'd be like, it's still too hot. He's just really into cartoons. It's still too hot. Look at this. I'm hard. Yeah. Okay, so Patty. I want to hear Weird Al do a cover of the Kinks' Lola about Lola Bunny. Weird Al, if you're listening, LOLABUNNY, Lola Bunny, LOLABUNNY, Lola Bunny. I'm not familiar with that song. Good song. Okay, last one I have is this, and this is to counteract the new sexy one, Patty. This is Adam's McRib for a biblical twist. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. For the Bible character, it's how the whole how Ronald McDonald, maybe it's Ronald's McRib. Okay. And that's how the whole thing started. That's how we all got here. Ronald's McRib. Oh. The McRib was removed from Ronald to make a beautiful female rib, to make a beautiful female Ronald. So now we got a lady clown, but Ronald doesn't even want her because now that his rib's out, he can suck his own dick. So true. He doesn't even. Man, I bet that was tough because he's like, all I want to do is get off with a mouth. And now I can just do it myself. Mm-hmm. That's probably why Eve was popping around in that garden. It's probably why she was talking to the snake. The snake was like, the snake listened to her. Yeah.
Adam's over there going ham on his own thing.
This one isn't fully fleshed out, but something along the lines of like Ozempic.
Tell me more.
Just because now the people who ate a ton of McDonald's are probably on Ozempic. Ozempica.
Oh, Ozempizza. You never had the McDonald's pizza down here, but that was big in Canada. That was big in Canada. You could get an Ozempizza. You could get an Ozempizza for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could get an Ozempizza for
sure.
And
they go to the deluxe
Ozempicnic. And that's a full McDonald's meal. It's a family meal. They serve it in a little cardboard picnic basket. It comes with toy ants. It comes with toy ants from A Bug's Life. So they're still promoting it.
Yeah. So the real ants all over the food can have some pals.
Yeah.
Are you a Bug's Life or an Ants guy?
Well, I still haven't seen Woody Allen's Ants.
Is it his movie or he's just the character?
I think he wrote it. I think he created it. I think it's all Woody. And that's why one ant keeps looking at his daughter and saying, "How are you doing?" He goes, "I'd love to, spend some alone time with you."
Yeah, maybe when the queen's out of town, we can go.
I can only imagine what Ants is about, but I imagine he really sweats when he's lifting a single crumb from a picnic blanket. He's going, it feels like there's got to be, some sort of mechanism that we could use to, transport these without, just one at a time feels like, a waste of manpower.
There's got to be more.
Or ant power,
There's got to be more, as it were. There's got to be more to life than just this.
It just feels a little unfair. We got ants, but, it maybe a term like uncle would, be more suited to sort of the male ants because I'm feeling sort of gendered in a sort of kind of emasculated in a way, and it's hard for me to perform when I'm feeling sort of, when society is sort of telling me that, I'm womanly. Do you like that?
I like that.
I'm sort of finding it.
Yeah.
We try this. We're doing Woody Allen impression every episode until we get good at it.
Yeah. It's getting there. I was going to say that I went to watch Ants, but I accidentally rented Aunts. And,
yeah.
It's not also Woody Allen though. Okay.
Oh yeah, still Woody Allen. They say a boy wants to sleep with his mother, but I find that a nephew frequently wants to I guess I would ask Freud, what's the complex for that?
Okay, it's getting there. This is good.
I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, that's really good. You're even getting the inflections. I was reading the script to Annie Hall today. And I don't know if it was the script that was actually written or if someone transcribed the actual movie because it is pretty spot on to the movie. But it even has like the stuttering that he does written
amazing.
in there. It's good.
I accidentally read the script for Auntie Hall, and it's sort of the same situation.
Auntie Hall.
It's another Woody Allen movie, but Annie's his aunt. His aunt. And once again, today's episode is brought to you by Gay Cup. Gay Cup. There's nothing wrong with it, and we use it with pride.
And I'm glad to use it.
Yes.
What does GLAD stand for? Gay, lesbian, astic?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Solved it.
And the lesbians are pissed.
They're pissed.
About the last two letters.
We have another thing.
Yeah.
We'll use the A sometimes, but we just put a P in there.
We can't call it GLAD.
GLAPT.
GLAD P? Mm-hmm. GLAD V?
All right, next
next segment. And we are proud to present Advice Corner.
Okay, let's do.
Now, we love to give advice.
We do.
And fortunately, we have a lot of listeners who are constantly asking.
Yeah.
Banging down our door.
Yep, they're all in the building.
Banging on our ceiling. And some of our listeners, I will say, are celebrities.
That's huge.
Now, here's one of our celebrity listeners who has written in and wants advice. Hi, Mark and Eric. I'm an unemployed man, if you could even call me a man, LOL. I live at the bottom of a lake or in the woods or something, and for years my hobby has been slaughtering camp counselors anytime the summer camp I live next to reopens. But recently I've started to lose my passion for my hobby. And before you ask, yes, I've been to Manhattan, and yes, I've been to space, and yes, I murdered people in those spots, and yes, I've fought Freddy Krueger. My question is there a way to reignite my passion, or should I just move on and find something else? For what it's worth, I have lots of time on my hands because anytime I die, I come back. LOL. What the? Yours, Jason.
Wow. Hey, Jason. Well, sorry to hear that, pal. That you're, falling out of love. We feel like we've all been there.
Yeah, we all hit that wall where the career we've chosen starts to feel like
work.
A trap. Starts to feel like work.
Starts to feel like work.
They say do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But as two comedians,
Yep.
I think we can say that that's not accurate.
No, especially not anymore. There's so much work.
It's more like do what you love, and then you'll have to do a bunch of you'll have to make content.
You have to make content forever
to support that.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you love, and you'll have to bark on the street and try and get people to come to your freaking shows.
So, Jason, I'm assuming this probably popped up after the pandemic.
Yeah, it sounds like
probably not a lot of people around. They're all in their homes.
It sounds like pandemic might have hit the summer camp industry as hard as any other.
Wow. Yeah, that's big. Jason at Kink Camp, at the festival we did was at a Kink Camp, and they just are so into it. They can't even tell he's
slit my throat, daddy.
Mm-hmm. Banish me. You can't even tell that he's like a scary murderer because there's much scarier looking people there.
Yeah,
like the Centaur man, the Minotaur.
Yeah. Oh, he's into blood play. He's kind of a rookie. He's kind of new. He's kind of got tame interests.
He's like, oh, geez, okay, wow, okay.
Yeah. Shows up with his knife. People are shitting and pissing on each other, and they've already been cutting each other up. And he goes, "Okay, am I late? I guess I'm late."
Wow. But yeah, post-pandemic, we all had those moments where you're like, do I like this, or is this just the thing that I've done every day for forever?
Mm-hmm.
And that takes some reconciling. You got to look inside a bit.
During the pandemic, Jason was like, should I settle down? Should I move to the country and farm? Should I get married? Should I have a kid?
And his mom's probably say, when are you going to bring home a nice girl? You keep killing all of them.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, I learned it from you.
What do you want?
I don't know what to say to you, Jason. I will say this, that have you ever had a moment, Eric, where you were like, I got to change it all?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Where would you go? What would you do if you weren't doing this? And by this, I mean this comedy, this podcast, and moving, being a mover, and being a guy who makes who films.
Yeah, I am just trying to do comedy until I can get into moving furniture full time. It's kind of a seasonal thing. So
you are on the furniture movers open mic circuit as well.
Oh my god, yeah, they have a few boxes and they're like, you just pick it up, put it down, wrap in a couch.
Yeah, you get the light.
And the only thing it's like you're performing, you're moving for other movers.
Yeah.
So they're much more judgmental.
Yeah.
But when you do an actual move, it's like taking the weights off. It's like training in high altitude.
Yeah. Well, you're hoping to tour. You've done some touring as a mover.
I've done some touring, yeah. I did a little run from Buffalo to Chicago. Yeah. Nice little 3-hour tight move.
Yeah, I heard the renters in Buffalo are
not the best.
Yeah, I heard they're a bit of a tough crowd.
They are, yeah. They were all drunk, and they really just wanted you to be dirty, drop all their stuff, make a big, really dumb yourself down.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there probably is better hobbies out there than the brutal slashing and murdering of people. So maybe try painting. Maybe. Maybe
go the George W. Bush route, and start painting dogs,
and people will forgive you.
Yeah,
if you're cute on your third act. If you have a cute third act, people will forgive you.
People will forgive
Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
George Bush.
Yeah, and then maybe an even worse camp related serial killer will come along, and people will look back at you and be like, I actually kind of miss that guy.
Oh, so true.
I think that guy maybe wasn't so bad.
Maybe mentor someone. Maybe that's how you can find your passion again.
That's so good. Yeah. Maybe you could start teaching
underprivileged youths how to murder.
How to do that. You could get a job. Listen, I'm just spinning off into real life now. There's a comedy college in Canada. There's one in Toronto, outside Toronto. It's called Humber. It's Humber College. They. It's
all comedy?
No, but they have a comedy program.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of comedians you meet in Toronto have gone through that program, and most of them are like, Jesus, why did I do that? Mm-hmm. But they met a lot of other comedians, so they're always like, I guess there was the silver lining. But all the teachers are former like touring, or some of them currently touring comedians who are just like, the stories I've heard, I don't know any of these teachers, but the stories I've heard make these teachers sound like they are not doing well.
Of course.
They're imparting their knowledge, and their knowledge is increasingly out of step with like current comedy landscape.
Yeah.
And this one teacher, apparently one whole class was devoted to how to survive on the road if you're like broke as hell. Like they're going to put you up in a hotel room. Some of these hotel rooms are not going to have stoves, and they're not going to have
our apartment doesn't have a stove.
not going to have hot plates. So here's how you cook a boiled egg on a lamp. Here's how you like fry an egg on a lamp. By like laying out like paper towel or something.
Yeah. What's cool is this also doubles for how to survive in prison.
Yeah.
It's a good class. Yeah, both credits count.
Oh, and there was how to cook ground beef in a coffee maker.
Oh, wow.
Which is just how to ruin a coffee pot. How to ruin a coffee maker for everyone else who's going to come later.
And you can use the juice, the water to make your coffee after that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyway,
that does sound like a fun class, though. Very interesting class. If you know someone, if you already know what it's like and like have done it, it would be fun to watch what this class is about. And some grizzled old road dog.
All right. And it's all like it feels like it's all like 80s comedians, and there's nothing I feel less applicable to modern comedy than like the 80s.
If you're gonna bang the wait staff, do it on the last night. You lay the groundwork on the Thursday and the Friday because you got to get out of there.
Here's how you do an impression of an ATM machine. Those new things with the beep boop, and you never remember your PIN, and now you gotta look over your shoulder because it feels like someone's gonna steal from you. I'm just doing an impression of a real comedian that I saw in 2017 doing an impression of using an ATM. It was the best.
Yeah, we know how to use those.
It's like when I read Seinfeld's most recent book where he just like publishes his notes for jokes, basically, his like index cards.
Yep.
And some of them are like, feel like modern thoughts. But then the next page is like a whole page of jokes on Star 69. Do you remember Star 69?
Yeah.
Basically pre-cell phone technology, when if you wanted to find out who had called you last on your landline, you'd press Star 69 and it would tell you the last number to call you.
2020 just called them back, right? And you go, who's this?
Yeah, you don't even know the name. You just say, I think someone called me from this number recently.
You go, nope, not us.
And you go, my bad. Seinfeld had a page of observations in the 2020s. Wild. Wonderful.
Love it.
The cash grab.
But yeah, I would try some new stuff out. I would suggest the mentor route. Find some up and comer, and you know, imagine if you see someone who looks kind of lost with holding like a butter knife, probably give them a machete.
Give them a machete. Teach them how to sharpen that blade. Or take on an up and coming monster like the Babadook.
Yes.
The Babadook, there are limits to how scary the Babadook can be, because it's basically just the embodiment of grief. You got to help the Babadook expand, you know, a little bit. Help the Babadook take risks. You took risks. You went to space. You know, I'd love to see the Babadook in space.
Yep.
haunting grief-struck astronauts.
Oh, yeah, because they're up there for a year and
they're
fighting with their wife.
Let's see a mashup of Interstellar and the Babadook. Dude. He's in space. He realizes he's made the wrong choice pursuing career over family. Guess who's there? The Babadook. The Babadook is there in his little steampunk top hat, popping around. Queer icon, the Babadook. Yeah,
the famous Beach Boys song. Ba 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 Duke.
There we are.
Ba 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 Duke.
And of course,
it's two different songs, but
yeah. And of course, our favorite Green Day album,
Babadookie?
Babadookie.
Yes. Nice.
Babadookie is when you do a poo and then you immediately regret it. And you feel grief for the...
You try to put it back in.
Yeah, you have postpartum around that loss.
100%.
You flush it and then you go, what have I done?
No, come back. Great.
So
Good luck,
we hope that helps, Jason.
J-Bone.
J-Bone. So this is a fun little segment. It's called Internet Hall of Fame.
Okay. Dial up.
The greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest. So the internet is full of wonderful things, and some of them get lost to time. And this is just a little segment to remind you of our favorite
Internet.
Internet.
Our favorite internet. All right. Internet Hall of Fame. Who we got?
Here's my favorite. So someone posted this recently online and reminded me of it. It's after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Yep.
And then someone posted a reply to Judd Apatow saying that Chris Rock had insulted Will Smith's wife and basically got what was coming. And then Judd Apatow replied, "He could have killed him. That's pure out of control rage and violence. They've heard a million jokes about them in the last 3 decades. They are not freshmen in the world of Hollywood and comedy. He lost his mind." Mm-hmm. So anyway, he could have killed him. Is my favorite all-time tweet.
Yeah.
He could have killed
With
him.
a slap?
With a slap.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then anyone could have killed anybody.
Anyone could kill anybody anytime.
I mean, how much cooler would it have been if Will Smith just killed Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars?
He could have slapped his head right off.
Dude.
I've seen the cartoons. I know what can happen if you slap a guy hard enough. This happened to my friend Daffy Duck. A guy slapped him and his head corkscrewed off and floated into the sky.
Boop, boop, boop.
Okay, fine. He was able to put it back on with a little bit of glue, and then it clicked into place. But I don't know if Chris Rock would have had those abilities.
Will Smith walks up to Chris Rock and bonks him on the head, and then a large, long goose egg comes up. When Will Smith dropped an anvil on Chris Rock at the Oscars, he could have killed him.
Now, we know what Judd Apatow means, which is like, yes, in theory, he could have knocked him out with a slap, and then he could have fallen and hit his head in just such a way that it would have been fatal. But that's like... It's not going to happen.
No. Yeah. That's a wimp response.
Yeah, and this is, and let us be the first to say, we're Judd Apatow, you a wimp. Mm-hmm. And this is, of course, this was a Trojan horse segment. We said it was called Internet Hall of Fame, but this is actually Wimp or Pimp. And Judd Apatow, you're not a pimp, you a wimp.
You a wimp.
It's a wimp reply.
Remember the era when we were pimping everything?
Yes, My Ride, Our Women, the list goes on.
Yeah. I just missed that when stuff was pimp, when you would pimp things out. Pimp My Ride, love that show. Mm-hmm. Putting like fish tanks in people's cars. That ruled.
That was good.
Let me think of an Internet Hall of Fame. 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Which I've still never seen.
Me neither. Okay, how about this as a challenge for the next episode? We're both going to watch 2 Girls, 1 Cup, and then we're going to weigh in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, 2 Girls, 1 Cup in this day and age, that's just a throuple.
So true.
This is a guy who thinks that the weird part is that the cup's seeing 2 women.
Yeah, the cup's ethically non-monogamous. Wow. No, it just shows how bad the economy's gotten where these 2 women have to share 1 cup. 1 gay cup.
Before Obama ruined the economy, each woman could afford her own cup of poo. Mm-hmm. But now they got to share. Thank God. They got to split rent. They got to split poo cup. The economy's in shambles, and we need a change.
In Europe, they have free access to poo cups.
It's government subsidized.
It's a right. It's a fundamental human right.
I don't know if I want to go that far, but I will say, at the very least, let me have my own cup.
My cup runneth over.
My cup runneth over. In Bushwick, it would be frickin', what would be?
A guy, a girl, a cup, and a pizza place.
Yes. Yes.
3 men, a baby, and a cup.
Yes. 3 men in a little cup.
That's good.
They have to raise the poo cup.
God, it was just like yesterday when you came into this world.
Listen, I don't want to shame pornographic actors, but I will say that I saw that cup in some dramatic indie films before it made that one, and so I read an interview where the cup was on sort of a classic acting path, and then took that gig to make some money, and I just feel kind of bad for the cup. That was the cup that got dropped and shattered at the end of The Usual Suspects.
My God.
That was the same cup.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
That was the cup.
What's really cool is if you go back and watch old Inside the Actors Studio, there's the cup asking questions right next to Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. It's asking James Lipton's mug how it made it to that point.
Yeah.
And James Lipton's mug is silent on the matter.
And that speaks volumes.
Silence does speak volumes. An audiobook really speaks volumes.
Yep.
Another fucking death blow from the boy.
What do you think about this podcast where I take formerly or currently incarcerated individual and we read classic novel called Pros and Cons?
Knockout. Fatality.
Or I get the father-son acting duo of James and Scott, and it's Pros and Cons.
Toasty. Who's your favorite rapper with a lisp? I'll go first. Cisco. I still remember how he pronounced that song, song, and I felt bad for him, and I hated that everyone was making fun of him. So those have been our segments, and now Eric, it's time for our closing segment, which is shout outs and plugs.
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug?
Well, we already plugged Gay Cup, which is a big part of our life.
Huge part of our life right now.
I'm just going to shout out that here pretty soon we're going to be at a cool new studio in our apartment that I've been working on. And that's just I'm excited about it.
That's great. And it looks awesome. I want to shout out our oven. And I want to plug it as well. And if you want... I don't know the brand offhand, but if you're looking for an oven that neither heats on the inside nor lights on the top,
this is a perfect brand.
This is the oven for you. And I can't recommend it enough. It reaches a heating temperature inside of, I want to say, 100 degrees, which is perfect if you want to lightly reheat some toast.
Over a long period of time.
Yeah, if you just want to have like a warm apple, let's say, something that won't melt a thing. If you want your ice cubes to sweat a little, this oven is perfect.
Get in there.
And then the stovetop is perfect if you want to hear the eternal click of a useless flint. So this is a great one. Also, I want to shout out the LaGuardia Airport Fountain.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
which sings "New York, New York" on a loop. Once every 10 minutes. And I just want to say, if you're looking for a service industry job where you can serve angry travelers while slowly going insane from the hellish looping soundtrack that blasts from the speakers all around you, get a job at the LaGuardia Airport Food Court. There's a Dunkin' Donuts, there's some pizza places, a panini shop. You can sell some muffins and coffee. Get that job, and once every 10 minutes, you will feel your brain pulsing with Frank Sinatra's classic.
There we go.
If on your bucket list is to hear New York, New York upwards of 200 times a day, that's the job for you.
That's the job for you.
Lastly, I want to shout out the Rats of New York.
Ah, yes.
They're big, they're juicy, and they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
I saw a rat so big the other day, there was a second smaller rat on his head, teaching him how to cook.
You know, a lot of rats from smaller towns around the country move to New York to try to make it.
Yeah, and they do.
It's tough. They all do.
They do. They all do.
It's actually, they're like, why isn't everyone moving here? This is the best place to be a rat.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes much more sense than like a person living here.
Yeah. It's nice.
It's far better life for rats than it is for people.
It's honestly an amazing life for rats.
Yeah.
In New York, all the garbage you could ever desire, and if you somehow run out of that, a lot of the people themselves are covered in the stuff, and they taste of it. There's garbage in the air; it'll float onto your doorstep whenever you should desire it.
So if you're a rat listening to this, move to New York.
Mm-hmm. And listen, there's easy access to a lot of apartments. You can have a warm place to sleep. More garbage.
Come on in.
Frankly, come on in.
Great. All right. Well, you little rats and mouses out there, be good.
Be good, stay safe, and remember, everyone deserves their own cup.
Cheers.